Alright guys, so this is going to be a review of my Marvel Select Avengers figures. I've actually had these for longest out of pretty much all my collectibles that I've done reviews on, but somehow never reviewed them before. So here we are. They are all the same brand, so they kind of go in line well with each other. And as you may notice, this is the ones from the first Avengers movie, and except there's not really a Black Widow here, because they didn't make one of her. So I have the Marvel Legends version of her, which I'll review her in her own thing with the group I have, but she's a bit smaller as you notice, and so in my display I have her kind of up on a little pedestal, and it works out, but I'll talk about that later. So they're all pretty well in scale with each other. Hawkeye is a little bit shorter than the rest of them, which is probably appropriate, seeing as how Captain America is a superhero, got Thor is a god, Iron Man's in a big suit, Hawkeye is just a regular dude, so I guess that makes sense. So, let's get into the details here. They are all pretty much the same level of a detail tended to each one. Amazing sculpting and painting. Let's do some quick ups on each of them. We'll start with Hawkeye. Got that likeness of Jeremy Renner, and it will focus. It looks really, really great. Okay, let's see. There we go. So he got his costume painted. Got all his detail. His boots, his leg straps, his bow and arrow, even his muscles, and the suit and everything. Looks really great. So that's basically the level of detail tended to each one of them. They're kind of hard to stand up, so they're kind of just piled together right now. But just do a quick up of them. If this bloody thing will focus. Alright, there you got the big three. I probably could have done separate reviews on each of these just because of what excellent figures these are, but lack of time and seeing as how I'm actually going to be selling these soon, figured I wouldn't spend too much time relishing over them, but these are really, really excellent figures. Lots of sort to talk about. Articulation, yes. Okay, so they're all about evenly articulated, I guess. A lot of the heroes' costumes, certain aspects of them limit their ability to move. So I guess a basic example, we'll just snatch Captain America out of here real quick and show you the articulation about all of them receive. So, you've got your head swivel with the, okay, I have to set this thing back up here. Come on, buddy. So anyway, I'll just talk about it, I guess. Got your head swivel with the up and down motion, full arm rotation, shoulder bell joint, rotational elbows, regular elbow joints, and rotating wrists. Keep in mind this is the same for all the figures. And you got the ball jointed hips, which is really nice. You can pretty much get them in any standing pose you can imagine. Double jointed knees, also really nice. You can actually bend his knee a ways back rather than just about a quarter of the way. And then you got rotational ankles here with up and down. So that is the basic articulation of all these figures, including Hulk, minus the double jointed knees for him, because that would just be ridiculous. So there's that. Some of the few special points of these figures, different from each other. Iron Man, he's got a harder plastic And the rest of them is kind of to give it that shiny metal look, but it looks really great. Just looks like Iron Man through and through. And one special thing he's got, his faceplate comes off. We can get this here to reveal Tony Stark underneath. And it kind of just has these little pegs that you can stick on the top head there. So it looks like he's got his thing open. Got a pretty decent sculpture of his face inside there. I usually keep it closed because I like Iron Man better than Tony Stark, because Tony Stark is kind of a douche, but kind of just pops back in there. And he's got his separate little shoulder guards to kind of help with the shoulder bell articulation up there, but you can kind of adjust those as needs be. And he's also got little back flaps. Not sure what those are for, but you see him moving around in the movies, so I guess there's reason for them. He also has two sets of two hands. He's got a fist option and a palm option. He's got one of each. I have a right palm, left fist on here, just so he can kind of be in his classic pose, you know, something like that. Looks better when it's all set up. But that's the specialties of Iron Man. And then, as you've already noticed, Thor and Captain America and Hawkeye all have their little weapons. Thor's got Mjolnir here, which it's kind of tough to get out of his hand, but it's a great little replica of his hammer. You got the textured handle, and keep in mind this is from the first Thor movie, this figure, so if you actually have noticed, there's a different handle on the Avengers one as opposed to Thor 1 and Thor 2, I guess. But it's got a sweet little hammer there. It's pretty solid. You can't really tell the mold lines on it very well, which looks nice. I mean, I guess you can see it going across the top there, but it looks pretty solidly consistent throughout, which is pretty cool. Captain America has his classic shield, and he also comes with a gun, because this is his first Avenger costume, which I like a heck of a lot better than his Avengers 1 costume. Just looks like ridiculous. So I'm kind of glad I have this one instead. But this shield is kind of a softer rubber. The circle lines are not super even. As you can tell, the outer red ring is way bigger. The blue's not quite right, and the star isn't. I guess the star looks pretty good, pretty accurate. But inside, it's nicely painted. Has a silver with the detailed metal straps, or leather straps, metal fittings. And it pops onto his fist. And one thing, if you have this and you're having trouble putting it on, if you have his fingers facing towards the metal of the shield, you can tell his fist is kind of upside down there. Then it fits into this a lot better than if you have it trying to hold it like he would actually hold it with his fingers facing out. So, one thing, got a great likeness, great sculpting all the way throughout. And I guess last figure to go up on is, what's his name? Hulk. Sorry. We're going to have to set these other guys down to really get to him. Well, I guess we never really looked at Hawkeye, his weapons. He's got his bow here, and his arrow. He comes with one arrow. He also has his quiver, which kind of just has a peg and hole in his back, but I glued it on because it kept falling out randomly. And his bow, I actually attached a string to it, but because it's kind of brittle plastic, it broke several times, and so I just eventually took the string off and glued it back together. Now it's just kind of like that. This guy's hanging a little arrow in here. It's nice looking Just kind of holds it in his hand there. You can do all sorts of poses with this guy. It's pretty cool. He doesn't have double jointed elbows, which is the one thing I hate about this figure, which is really obnoxious because to do a good arrow pull back, you kind of need a double jointed elbow. But I guess that's something I'm going to have to live without. So those are Hawkeye's accessories. Now Hulk, he doesn't come with anything, doesn't come with a base at all, which other figures come with bases. I'll show you those in a minute. But Hulk is just huge. He's quite a bit bigger than the other ones, as you can obviously tell. He's a good several feet, or I guess in this life scale feet, taller than the rest of them. He's just absolutely massive. He's got his big old feet. His fists just solid. And he's really well painted. He's got, I guess in this camera makes him look really shiny and bright green, but in actuality he's kind of a excuse me, darker shade of green. Looks like more like the movie. He's got his kind of shadowed with the dark accents here and there. Looks nicely shaded all the way around. And his face. I'm not sure what to think of his face. At first I really hated his grimace he's got going on. Kind of just like an upside down smile thing. But this picture doesn't do it justice. It looks really, really good. And the sculpted hair goes excellently. It's really hard, kind of even sharp in some places, which is weird, but it looks really great. It looks like an angry Hulk, which he's supposed to be, so that's perfect. He's got great articulation. He's got a swivel waist there, which is really nice. His thighs are a little messed up. They're not quite swivel ball point thighs. They kind of have this outer hinge and then just the up and down, but I don't really move Hulk around a whole lot, so I don't need to worry about that. But he's got excellent ankle articulation. He's got full ball rotation, and these big, huge flat feet, so you can pretty much set him up any angle you want. His feet really just conform to it. It's really nice. So that's Hulk for you. Now I'll show you the quick bases that come with each of these figures. With Thor comes this plastic, it's supposed to be metal base thing. A lot of these come in pairs to get you to buy more of their figures. This one's supposed to come with Loki. Thor and Loki come together and both their bases combine to make the Bifrost sword deal. You've probably seen plenty of pictures and stuff of that. So Thor comes with this. Captain America comes with this metal base thing and the Tesseract. And if you get Red Skull with him, you get the rest of this set, which sets it all up nicely. But it's kind of them that they actually made this Tesseract. You can actually fit it on the space without the Red Skull part. Kind of just have to kind of bend it a little bit, but you can get it to fit on there pretty well. Makes a nice little display piece. And Iron Man comes with this changing room looking thing. It's a nice metal thing. It's got great painting, great metal details, a little peg to stand on, and it's a great little display place for him to sit. It looks kind of like the displays that his armor hall has for each of his suits. So setting him up in there looks cool. And then Hawkeye comes with this ancient looking metal rail. That's something from New York. If you get the Chitauri figure to go with him, it connects another one that looks just like this to make a little, I'm not sure what, but this is really good looking. It's got excellent paint, excellent rust. It looks quite authentic as a old metal rail you'd find in the suburbs of New York or something, which is just what it's supposed to be. So I'm not really sure how to display that with him though. Set him on top or something. Anyway, so that is basically my review of these Marvel Select Avengers figures. As I said, I'm going to be selling these, and so probably be gone by the time you get around to actually seeing this, but with selling them on eBay. There's not a whole lot to say about these. These are just excellent figures if you want display pieces and Hot Toys is out of your price range. This is definitely the way to go. They're good, solid 7-inch figures. They go well with each other, even well by themselves. And they're pretty hard to find because they're not really in production either. So they're actually expensive nowadays. But if you can find them and you like collecting figures and stuff, this is a good little set to add. It's really bright and colorful. Add some life to your collections. And yeah, that's basically it.